Hey, 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 happy Sunday. I just made it in for church, from church. And today I did something different. I stopped, I got me a nice little smoothie, a green smoothie. I've been trying to be healthy lately. Um, on the Chipotle got me a bowl. And then I just took a long drive home to kind of marinate on what the message was today at church and basically have some more me time and alone time with God. Um, and just enjoy the beautiful day here in Texas. It is nice out. It was kind of cool and cold and windy yesterday. But today it's kind of nice. As old folks say, it's a pleasant day. And I did a podcast the other day, and it was called When God is in the Building. And it kind of was inspired by the Anointed Pace Sisters. And then I did like a flyer saying that I was going to do another podcast talking about my mother's shoes are not mine. And I was debating on when to release it, but God told me to release it today. And you see, it's not my normal podcast. Lately, he's been having me doing some things out of the norm, but it's okay. I'm doing it in obedience. And it's a lot of things he had me to read, write down so I can read or whatever, and I'm going to do just that. So today's episode on Hoops and Hurdles, I will be talking about my mother's shoes are not mine. This topic or episode is not to bash my mother. My mother was an intelligent, smart, strong, loving, and caring woman and God-fearing. She was a single mother of two and did what she had to do as a mother. At the beginning, I think you're going to see a picture of my mother. She was holding me. And then at the end, you're going to see a couple pictures of her. I think one was like military, graduation, and just like a basic picture of her. Those are the only pictures that I have of my mother because she passed away so early. She's like 43. I was 14. So I don't have no recent pictures or anything of my mother. Those are the only pictures that I have, but you all will see them at the end. But my mother wore many hats, and she made wearing each hat look so easy. She was a full-time mother, of course. She worked at a gas station at night, and I remember that when I was a child because my mother used to have me in beauty pageants when I was younger, and sometimes she wasn't there for my beauty pageants. So my eldest brother, he used to have to try to get me ready and stuff like that for my pageants because she wasn't able to be there because she used to work at a gas station at night. And I remember that. I may have been maybe Head Start or kindergarten. But yeah, she used to work at gas stations at night. She was a full-time college student. She was a double major. She went to a community college in Utica, Mississippi. She was our doctor when we were sick. She was also an Army veteran. I wasn't born when she was in the military, but my brother was born. But yes, my mother served in the Army, so she's an Army veteran. She's the oldest sibling on both sides of her parentals. I think with my grandmother, who was her mother, she's the oldest out of six because it was seven of them. On her dad's side, I don't know. I know she's the oldest, but I don't know how many kids is over there, but she's the oldest. She's a sister, she's an aunt, she was a friend. She was a church secretary, and she was a grandmother. At the time, she was a grandmother of one. But now she's a grandmother of four. She's a grandmother of four. I don't have any just yet, but my time is coming. But right now, she's a grandmother of four. She was an amazing mother and very supportive. She wanted what was best for her children. She had me in beauty pageants, as I told you all. She supported me singing in the choirs at school and church. And when she was, and she supported my cheering. I used to be a cheerleader. Yes, I was. Yes, I was a cheerleader until I relocated from the country to the city. So I was a cheerleader from like 5th, 6th grade in a small town called Mississippi. But she had a job transfer to the city, which was Jackson, Mississippi at the time. So therefore, she had to transfer and move to the city. We had to move to the city because my mother could not drive. I think you all get my book again. My book is located on Amazon. It's called Resuscitated from Pain to Purpose. It will kind of give you a backstory of where I come from and etc. But no, my mother could not drive, so we had to move to the city so she could have access to transportation to get to her job. My mother was going to even find a record label and support my cousin in our music career. So I think in a previous podcast, I had stated that one day me and my cousin was in the den of her mother's and father's home, and we had this hymn book, and we was playing with the hymn book, singing songs out the hymn book, and the song we sing was Because He Lived. And she would take the top, I took the middle, then we both collaborated at the end. And so my auntie overheard us singing this in the den, and she was like, "Oh yeah, y'all singing at church Sunday." We was like, "Wait, what we doing?" And she was like, "Yeah, y'all gonna sing that." So the first time my mother and the family heard us sing this Because He Lived as a collaboration was when my great grandmother, Grandma Sarah, had passed away. We sang it at her funeral, and it was amazing how God had worked that thing, because, like I said, she took the first the first stanza, I took the second, and then the third we kind of collaborated. So it was like when it was her turn to sing, I was crying, and then when I was singing, she was crying. But at the end, we brought that thing on in, So that was like my first time my mother ever heard me really sing and project a song, and my cousin as well. So she was really pushing our music career. Like, we really was going to be another Mary, like, no cap. Before Mary even came out, we was really going to be Mary, like, for real. And, we took it as a joke, but my mother was serious about that thing. Like, she was talking about record labels and putting the money up for it and finding management. Like, she really pushed us because she saw what we had. We didn't see it then, but she seen it, so she supported that. But, of course, she got sick. God had other plans. Believe it or not, she supported me being a gymnast. Even though I'm heavy-set, I'm big-boned, whatever you call it, I was very flexible. I tumbled, and I got that from my auntie and my uncles. They always tumbling, doing back bends, and so I never let my weight challenge me. I never let my weight get in the way. So I'm like, if you gonna do it, I'm gonna do it too. So I tumbled, I did splits, I did back bends, I did whatever the skinny person could do. And my mother supported that. One day I was in the living room, because I used to always watch gymnastics and finger skating. Loved it that. And one day after finishing watching gymnastics, I went in the living room and I was just tumbling away. And my mother called me in her room. I never forget, she called me in her room. And she said, "Teresa, go get that phone book." And back then we had phone books. Yes, that's how old I am. We had phone books. And I got the phone book because I thought maybe she wanted something out of there. And she said, so I handed her the phone book, and I was getting ready to walk out the room. She said, She said, "You come back in here, look through this phone book, and find a gymnastic class so I could put you in, because I'm tired of you tumbling in my house." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And so she said, "Yes, find a gymnast class so I could put you in so you could tumble in their facility and at my house." And she was so serious. So I found one and I gave it to her. She said, "Okay, I'll call it." Of course, God had other plans. We didn't get around to that. She got sick. I wasn't able to join in no gymnasts and tumble or nothing of that sort. Because again, God had other plans. I was chunky, but your girl could tumble. After the loss of my mother, it was devastating. And I remember the last words she said. I think me and my brother's first wife, who's now his ex-wife, we was cooking, making dressing. We was making dressing. And I remember my mother calling, and she was asking us what we were doing. And I was like, "We cooking dressing." And she was like, "Oh, okay." She was like, and then her last words were, "Teresa, behave. Make sure you mind. Don't be talking back." Like, where all this coming from? And she was like, "Just know I love you." She said, "I love all of y'all." She said, "Teresa, do what people tell you to do." Like, she was just giving me all this. And I was like, "Mama, I am." I was like, I'm thinking I got in trouble for something. I'm like, "What did I do now?" And she was like, "And I love all of y'all." And I was like, "We love you too." We was like, "We love you too." Them the last words I heard from my mother. And I think a couple of days later, she ended up transitioning. So that was very devastating for all of us. But I had to learn over the years that she had run her course and completed her assignments here on earth. She had to pass the baton onto her children while she rests with Jesus. She had to pass the baton to her children so she can rest in Jesus. Wow. You know how when you running and you got the person you running, the person in front of you is like this, hand behind their back, ready for you to pass the baton. That's how it was with my mother. She ran her race. And when she was finished running her race, God told her to pass the baton to her children because it's time for us to run. I was there to catch this baton. And now I'm running the race while she rests in Jesus. I was young and still trying to figure myself out. My mother was gone and no father present. Honey, my life became a whirlwind. After graduating from high school, like my mother asked me to, because her dying wish was to graduate from high school, she was like, I don't care what you do after, after high school, but I just want you to graduate high school. That was her dying wish. And it was hard for me to get through high school, but God gave me some angels, boy, to push me through that thing, and I graduated just like she wanted me to. I only went to college because I was told that was what I had to do. And my mother would want me to attend because she attended college. No, I did not want to let my mother down, but I went into something such as college with no plan. I did not even take the ACT serious. I scored a 13 on my ACT the first time I took the test. I just really wanted to get through the wish of my mother, which was graduate high school. I didn't have a plan about going to college. I didn't even take ACT serious. The first time I took the ACT, I literally made a 13, which basically gonna land you in a community college, which you gonna take basic courses, prerequisites. Like, I wasn't taking that serious because I didn't see college. I just seen let me finish high school like my mama told me to. So I didn't take nothing serious. I didn't know. I always said I wanted to be a nurse. I didn't take that stuff serious because, like, if I wasn't taking serious, or if I had people in my corner, who would say, Teresa, you want to be a nurse, this is what you need to do. Woo, woo, woo. Honestly, I'm going to be real with y'all. I didn't have nobody pushing me. You pushed me into something that I wasn't even prepared for, and you didn't prepare me to go into it, but you pushed me into it because you knew by saying your mother. You knew if you would have used that word, your mother, I'm going to go ahead and do it because I don't want to let my mother down. But yet and still, my mother was no longer here. Yet you didn't even prepare me or even try to tell me, hey, you want to be a nurse, this is what you need to be doing. Hey, have you even thought about the path you want to take? What's your calling? What do you want to do? I didn't get none of them preparation. I just went into something because I was basically kind of forced into it because you used my mother. And I'm not going to let my mother down, So I went into something not even prepared. And I made a 13 on ACT. So basically, I'm in a community college. And I have no plan. I have a 13 ACT, no plan. I'm just going because you said my mother would want me to go. And because my mother went. And it was an epic fail. Like, baby, it was so bad. I was going to school in pajamas. Like, I didn't care. I'm going to be real with you. I was going for the financial aid because I was like, ooh, free check. Didn't even take that serious. I was told to enlist into the military since college was not for me because my mother went to the military. She actually was the first person in the family to enlist in the service. Yep, that's my mother. So yeah, military came up. So since you don't want to go to school, why won't you go to the service? Y'all, I was still chunky at this time. Chunky. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll go. So I was like, I'm not doing Army. I'm not doing all that. So I went, to the Air Force. I went into, I think at the time, the Metro Center Mall in Jackson, Mississippi had all the recruit centers in the mall. So I went into Air Force. recruit center. And I remember going in there and they asked me what I wanted to do. And I was like, I want to enlist in the Air Force. What I have to do. So, of course, they do the body mass thing and want to do your height and all this good stuff. So, at the time I'm still 5'7", and he took my weight and then he pulled out this chart with the body mass on it, because they got to do all the BMIs and all this good stuff. And he was like, well, for your height, you're supposed to be 165. I said, 165 what? And he was like, 165 pounds. So I'm laughing, like it's tickling me. I'm like, you playing, right? And he was like, no, ma'am. He was like, according to this chart, you know, your BMI is supposed to be 165. And I said, sir, you remember last time I seen 165? And he said, no, ma'am. I said, me neither, because I think I skipped the ones and went to the twos. So I'm like, yeah, no, this not for me. So I ain't no walking out the recruiting office because I already know I'm not going to pull away from no plate. I love to eat. And I'm not going to be right here looking like a crackhead. Like, this is what I'm thinking. But again, I walk into this recruiting center of the Air Force because, again, my mother enlisted in the military, so I want you enlisted in the military. You see what I'm saying? It was that mother thing that triggered me to do things. Because, again, I don't want to let my mama down. She was also the first to graduate from college. Again, double major. I was there to witness that special day with her when she walked across that stage and received her degrees. Anywho, I tried listening to the Air Force until, like I said, my weight became an issue. Yeah. Y'all, I'm still chunky. And I don't care nothing about it. I never made it to 165. And it's okay. It's okay because there wasn't God's purpose for me at all. I had to realize that my mother's shoes were not mine. She had her own journey to walk. And God's purpose for my mother's life was not mine. I had to stop letting others, including family, so-called friends, who was close to me, dictate to my life and how I should walk it out. My mother would have never tried to make me walk in her shoes. Never. She always wanted what was best for me. My mother knew that I was very different, and I did not let being different discourage me. I think I didn't realize that I couldn't walk in my mother's shoes until I was in my late 30s. Prior to that, I literally was in an identity crisis. I literally was trying to find myself. I literally was trying to figure out who am I. And it was wretched. And trying to figure out who I was a roller coaster. When we have people afraid to go outside the grain because they have been dictated to and told that they need to be like their parents or walk in their parents' footsteps, it's hard. And some of us don't want to go against the grain because it's family. But sometimes you have to go against the grain, especially if it's toxic, especially if it's not of God. I'm gonna always say this: just because you're born in it don't mean you have to stay in it. God created us all with different blueprints, which are called purpose. My purpose is not my children's or grandchildren's purpose. Ask God to reveal your purpose to you and walk in not worrying. Walk into your purpose not worrying about what it is. Don't worry about the naysayers. Yes, I look just like my mother. I am a split image of my mother. But I am not my mother. I am not her. When she named me Teresa Lachey Mack. I picked up where she left off, and I know she is proud of my journey. Because knowing my mother, she is right on the side of God, trying to assist. If you really know my mother was a boss. She was a Pisces, the oldest of all her siblings. Like, yeah, she running it. Yeah, she the boss. She was a boss. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. My mother's shoes are not mine. Again, my mother's shoes are not mine. So, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Teresa Lachey Mack, soon to be Dr. Teresa Lachey Mack. I am the second born and baby to the late Rosemary Mack. I am the first in my family to graduate from a 4-year university. I am the first to move out of state. I am the first to have a published book called Resuscitated from Pain to Purpose, available on Amazon. I am the first to pledge and be a part of an amazing sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I am the first speaker and podcaster of my family. And in a few months, I will be the first doctor in my family. Oh, that's just only the beginning, my darlings. Just stay tuned. That reintroduction felt so good because now you get to know who I am. I am not my mother. She birthed me. I look just like her, but I am not my mother. My mother's shoes are not mine. She passed the baton because her journey was over. I just picked up where she left off, and now I'm running my own race for my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Stay tuned, because it's only the beginning of what God is about to do in my life. You don't never judge a book by its cover. The devil should have killed me when he had a chance. But he messed up. Because here I am, walking with God. And it's about to be on and popping. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in to Hoops and Hurdles. Make sure you subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube channel, and continue to follow me. God is about to do some things.